звездам путь был для нас непрост. Было все и удачи, и беды, но сияли на этом тернистом пути ослепительные победы. Первый спутник и первый полет, и улыбка Гагарина, Юры, Терешкова, Леонов, Попович, Титов, Старбуранов, в песках Байконура.
Welcome to the world of Tarkov. My name is Slayer, and welcome to my guide on acquiring riches and fame in the rarest way possible. This series helps to guide newer and unexperienced players on their way to getting rich and acquiring loot with minimal risk. This is going to be a multi-part episodic series, with each episode covering a different topic. Today, we shall be covering your player Scav, and how he can be effectively used. So without further ado, let's begin. As you've probably noticed by now, you have the option of two characters. Your PMC, short for player main character, and your Scav. In short, your PMC is you. This is who you'll be doing quests and leveling up to progress. Your Scav, on the other hand, is much different, hence the name Scav. Your main intent is to sift through the unwanted garbage and firefights to find some high quality pickings. Your Scav will always spawn later in the raid of your choosing, so you must take that into your account. Another thing is you want to take into account your starting location and the hotspots of the map you're currently on. This is to avoid any potentially unfun engagements. Let's start off with some basic tips to improve your gameplay, and after that, a review of all the maps. Many players tend to freeze up when they hear gunshots, and this is a habit you should shake as soon as possible. Hearing shots in the distance is ultimately a good thing, as that's at least one player you won't have to deal with, possibly more, as people tend to gravitate towards fights. Use gunshots as your time to make a move. However, if shots are closer to you, slow down and figure out roughly where they came from, and then make your move accordingly. Unless you're confident in your ability/gear, pushing fights may not always be the smartest decision as a newer player. It's ill-advised to stay in a raid for too long. Once you're content with what you have on you, or you finish a quest, or whatever you wanted to achieve in that raid, you should immediately start heading towards extract. The longer you are in raid, the more time there is to make mistakes and in general, die. Learn to loot quick, utilizing Control-click to transfer, and Alt-click to quick equip. A bit of a tongue twister. These hotkeys are a rat's best friend, and in general may keep you alive longer, as getting killed while looting and staying still is much more common than you may think. As a Scav, you're almost always at a disadvantage to all PMCs, as they are typically better geared and better supplied than you are. As a result, it's almost always the play to avoid fights and go your merry way looting as much as you can carry. However, if you are forced into a fight, make sure it's in your favor before committing fully. This means if you have the drop or your target is injured, distracted, or pretty oblivious. Scav extracts are typically different than PMC extracts depending on the map. There are exceptions to this though, such as Railway Exfil or Emercom Checkpoint on Interchange. Regardless, learning where your extracts are is essential to survive in the raid. I'll link several maps in the description below that contains a detailed list of extracts and where they're located. Home sweet home. Customs is many Tarkov players' first ever map they've played on, and for quite a good reason. Customs is chock full of loot if you know where to look. When scavving, your main points of interest will be the stashes, the medical building, the fortress, and old gas station if that's where your extract is. All of these places can spawn some pretty good loot, and should have minimal risk later in the raid. If you're looking for a quick profit boost, load in the customs, hit stashes, and grub loot. Don't get greedy and leave when the coast is all clear. Overall, I'm ranking customs a 5 out of 5 for Scavibility. Good loot, which is spread out and easy to access, and an easy to remember map. An all-around amazing map. Now we're talking. The OG king of scavving, Interchange is an absolutely amazing map for you to scav on. Great amount of loot in all different varieties, dark corners to hide in, and great loot distribution. My personal favorite places would be the stores Texo, Rasmussen, and Techlight for electronics, and Idea and Ollie for computer parts and hardware. Interchange really has it all for every type of scav alike. However, similar to Reserve, beware getting caught out by other scavs and PMCs, which are abundant on Interchange, especially within the mall. Another great place for loot is the outside stashes. These can be found all around outside the mall and are full of goodies. I recommend memorizing these as soon as possible. In short, keep your weapon close, your eyes peeled, and your backpack open, and success and riches will fly your way. A for sure 5 out of 5. Reserve is the best place to scoop up gear, including armor and guns. Usually, you can find the aftermath of a glue car encounter. This can be at the spots Old Train, Night, and the Pond buildings. I check these areas first to see if there's any gear you can grub up. Other than that, hitting the underground command bunker is another great way of making money. Within, you can find supply crates and a lot of filing cabinets, which are ripe for the picking. However, I have my reservations about Reserve, mainly being its size and inhabitants. Being on the smaller side, it can often be difficult for us rats to stay hidden, which is key for our survival. And second, Reserve is the home of the large lads. I'm talking level 40 Omega gamers that can and will kick your shit in at a moment's notice. However, there's always the calm in the storm, and that's where you'll succeed. Therefore, I'm going to give Reserves a good 4 out of 5. Factory is the place of big dreams and devastating losses. I personally wouldn't recommend coming here unless you have a dumb shit tactic, a death wish, or you just want to fit in some quick PvP action. Factory has practically no loot other than the safe in the office, the jackets, and the filing cabinets also in the office area. So in short, unless you're going to Factory to screw around, scabbing here is practically a waste of your time and is not worth the queue. 1 out of 5. Hands down, avoid. Minimal amount of loot with large travel distances with little reward, and the constant looming threat of snipers. Anything you could try to do on woods can be done better on either your PMC or on a different map entirely. I repeat, avoid. 1 out of 5. Personally, I'm not fond of Shoreline with scavving. My reasons for this is entirely the health resort. And this is because this is where a majority of players and pretty much all the loot will be. And everywhere else is just empty. You might hit the occasional stash, safe, cabinet, or maybe even another scav if you're lucky. But it doesn't seem to justify it. However, if you want to risk it, you can venture into the resort, and assuming you've came late, most of the locked doors should be open, and possibly some loot left behind. But aside from that, Shoreline is honestly a toss-up. You may get lucky and find something good, or you may get absolutely demolished by PMCs. Overall, I'll give Shoreline a 3 out of 5. Pretty good, but not good enough to justify anything higher. Like I said, it's a toss-up. And that brings a wrap to today's video. I really hope you all enjoyed, and more importantly, learned something new. The aim of this series, I would like to repeat, is to help newer / players who aren't so high on their luck. But if you enjoyed, that's all I can really ask for. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them in the comments, leave a like, generic YouTuber stuff. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Slayer Games, signing out. Peace.